Is the Batman delayed after Robert Pattinson faced problems bulking up? That is the headline on today's MBE Heroes. And this one is coming in from Cosmic Book News. I don't actually know the veracity of Cosmic Book News. Sounds like a terrible name for a website. But it's coming from Grace Randolph, of course, the YouTuber, with an infinitesimally bigger amount of followers than me. I presume she has her finger on the pulse on this one. And she has says that she's also heard that Robert Pattinson is having trouble bulking up. Essentially, the studio have been panicking slightly. They've gave him an extra couple of weeks, but that it's not delaying the movie overly long, just an additional 2 weeks. And look, I'm absolutely perplexed by this, I have to say. First and foremost, I don't think Robert Pattinson is all that skinny. He's slight, but not skinny. He does have some densely packed muscles on his frame. He's ripped, and I think we can pull off a reasonably slight Batman, certainly in the context of new Matt Reeves, the Batman movie, where he is going to be this younger, more juvenile version of the character, finding his way within Gotham, finding his way within the greater story of Batman, finding his way within the actual suit itself, come to terms with being this anti-hero, superhero figure, whatever you want to call it, depending on which way they go. He's going to be a superhero, he'll not be an anti-hero. But look, is it really that big an issue that he hasn't bulked up all that much, or that he is facing trouble bulking up as it stands? I don't think it is. Ben Affleck, some would say, was way too bulked up. He was way too big, and that was because Zack Snyder is a keen lover of lifting weights himself. As they say in this article, he employed his very own personal trainer to come in and get Ben Affleck into even bigger and better shape. And I felt like he was too big. I recall the jokes at the time about him looking like he was blown up, you could prick him with a pin in the suit. He was too big. Obviously Christian Bale came in and played Batman initially in the Batman Begins movie, and he was termed Fat Man because he was too big. He'd bulked up way too much, excessively so, some would say, after The Machinist. So there's nothing wrong with going a slightly different way with the character. He's a big guy, he's 6 foot, Robert Pattinson, and I think you could do a similar thing to Zachary Levi in Shazam. If he can't bulk up an additional 10-15 pounds in the next 3, 4, 5 months, however long it is till production starts, then they can always put in some fillers in the suit, and who'll ever know. Certainly Levi pulled it off in Shazam, and I think Pattinson could pull it off as well. Primarily, I'm only worried about what Robert can bring to the character in terms of acting chops. I know the man is incredibly talented. He's got some shit after the casting. People are still stuck 5, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years, how long ago it was, since the Twilight Saga, and they're stuck in this rut, much like they were with Heath Ledger when he was cast as Joker. I'm excited for what this guy can bring to the role. He's younger than Christian Bale was, I think by about 6 months or something, when he took on the Batman role himself, but he's more youthful and he's got more longevity in terms of where he can go with this character. So I don't feel like this is a big issue. Grace Randolph probably has got a finger on the pulse. He probably is struggling to bulk up, but I really don't think it's a big issue. They actually go on to say don't expect a jacked Robert Pattinson. Well, I am expecting a jacked Robert Pattinson, but not in the sense of some meathead steroid abusing chap you'd see in a gym. He's going to be jacked, but in his own frame. He'll be comfortable in his frame, and it'll just play in, as I did say, without repeating myself again and again and again, to where the character is in this part of his development. And obviously it's a very detective heavy side anyway that Matt Reeves was going for. He wasn't going for the Boston pal and stuff like that fighting Batman. He's going for a more cerebral Batman who will be able to handle himself as well, I'm sure. But look guys, I'm going to move on because I've done that one to the death, to the next topic, which is interconnected to the Batman movie. It's Matt Reeves casts John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. I think I've said that right. Carmine Falcone, I think his name is. If you can correct me down below, that'd be great if I've said that wrong. But obviously he is going to be coming on board to play one of the mobsters in Gotham City, and it's a great announcement. First and foremost, I'll get it right off my chest. I think this is another marvellous casting choice for this movie. They are hitting it out of the park. Andy Serkis as Pennyworth, Alfred that is. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, We've got Zaz, what the hell's her name? I can't even remember. Zoe Kravitz as obviously Catwoman. And that's before you even go into Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon as well. So we've got a really, really promising cast coming together here. I don't know who the casting director is, but whoever he, she is, they are doing a stupendous job in choosing which actors are coming on board for this movie. He is a seasoned professional, this chap. He's worked with, I want to say, Martin Scorsese, not the Coen brothers, sorry, on a wide array of movies. I think it was Brother, Where Art Thou? I want to say the movie was the one with George Clooney, I want to say. Wonderful movie. 3 guys break out of a prison. He's an incredible actor, and I've not really got much more to add to it other than to express my utter joy and excitement at where this movie's going. Again, it's just hinting that we're getting a really crime-infested Gotham here for this young, green-nosed Batman to come in and tackle. We're going to have the Penguin playing a nefarious guy in the shadows playing things around like a grandmaster at chess. We'll have these mobsters in there. We'll have Catwoman. We've got the Riddler in there. There's going to be an incredible teeming cesspit of villainry in there, and he's going to come in and really add to that quality of the cast evermore. And I'm going to move on that note, guys, because I'm ready to dig myself a hole again. We don't want that. To the next topic, and it's all about Iron Man and why a 4th instalment in that particular franchise would have been one too many. The Avengers Endgame writers have been out speaking about it, and they have said whether you like all of the 24 movies or not, the capital that Marvel built up allowed them to do things like make a movie standing a raccoon in a tree, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy. They've then went on to say, but they decided that they could have already have had an Iron Man 4, but they decided no, we're going to kill the character off, we're going to take a risk, put a flag in the ground. And I agree with them, because they really could have chosen the easy path and made another Iron Man movie. It would have been a monumental success with Robert Downey Jr. coming in to portray Tony Stark once again, but they had the balls on them, some would say brass balls, to make a decision to end this fan favourite of a character, an actor who's just synonymous with the character. They killed him off in a meaningful way. It was a beautiful end to his arc. It showed you the progression of the man over the last 11 years, 24 movies, and it was just a wonderful end. And I'm glad they never went down the route of giving us a 4th instalment in the Iron Man franchise, mini-franchise within the MCU. It wouldn't have worked. It was ever diminishing returns, let's be honest. The first one was one of the best movies in the MCU. Second one was a bit meh. Third one was shit for me, Ben Kingsley aside. It was a terrible movie, and it was the correct decision to ultimately not make a 4th instalment of this movie. And they're right as well. It needs an end. It loses meaning, The end is what cements the thing. To actually sew it all together and bring it to a crescendo, and take the people off the board, finish their arcs. If Tony made it to the other side and Iron Man 4 was waiting there, you'd be like, one too many. I completely concur. Robert Downey Jr. is one of my all-time favourite actors. I really love the guy on and off the screen. He's a real sort of a godfather figure. He helps people out. He seems like a really courteous guy. He's went on a great journey in his life. Great rags to riches tale. And I'm just glad to see he can come back at some point anyway. It's already been spoken about that he could come back and voice I want to say a virtual intelligence, AI is the word, version of the Iron Man character, much like what Vision was prior to that in the suit. So he can come back and play the character, just not in Iron Man 4, and it's the correct decision. I agree with those Endgame writers. But look, guys, I'll move on to the next topic on that note, because there's not much more to add. That's why I'm doing more topics than usual. I'm on my own. I've not got as much to say when you can't bridge your conversation out with someone else. So I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is all about Tim Miller whinging away incessantly like a little bitch again. I spoke about him yesterday, obviously in Movie News, where he was whinging about James Cameron, I keep wanting to call him Jim, I don't know him, coming in and meddling in the production of Terminator Dark Fate. I'm going to go down and get a drink here if you bear with me. And how that really damaged his time in the production of that movie, helming that movie. And again, he's whinging about Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool here. Deadpool 2, that is, why he quit. He says that Ryan Reynolds wanted to be in control. Now, the longer quote is quite lengthy, so I'll try and paraphrase it. Essentially, he says that it became clear Ryan wanted control of the franchise, and that he couldn't work as a director that way quite as successfully as if he had full control. He says that he doesn't mind creative decisions being negotiated and having a bit of come and go. He likes debate, but only when he can win. So eventually he had to relinquish control to Ryan and step away from the franchise. Obviously, in hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise because we got David Leitch in. Ryan Reynolds proved that he gets this character better than anybody else in the world, and it was an unbelievably beautiful movie. I loved Deadpool 2. I loved the variance in the tone within that movie. It went from comedy to really heart-rending moments where obviously he's going to the afterlife. He's just a deeply troubled guy that wants to die but he can't die. And yeah, I really enjoyed the way the movie went, and then so ultimately I'm siding with Ryan Reynolds, as I will always do, because I've completely changed my tune on Ryan. I used to hate him when he was in rom-coms, but now that I see the real guy in there, he's a hilarious chap, an amazing actor, can do so much, and he really is, much like I spoke about with Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr., absolutely synonymous with the Wade Wilson character, the melt with a mouth. He gets the character, he gets the creative decisions and where that has to go, he gets how to just introduce that right level of profanity, and he brought in an incredibly talented director who gets the action genre like no other in David Leitch. And I didn't notice Tim Miller's absence, I have to say. For me, it was every bit as good as the first movie, one of those rare sequels which managed to capture or recapture lightning in a bottle. Now, he does go on to say, I think further down, an additional quote. No, he doesn't, sorry, I'm talking absolute nonsense. But yeah, in the end, Tim Miller, he's just coming across as a bit of a whinging bitch. He's a good director, I can't take it away from him, but he's just became a real whinger in recent months. Obviously criticising males for not getting on board with Dark Fate, and now he's criticising Ryan Reynolds. What's this guy on? Come on, know your place, my man. You've got to pick a man's got to know his limitations, as Clint Eastwood once said. But look, guys, I'm done. My voice is nearly going. I'm going to move on to the next topic. I'll hopefully get to the end of the show without sounding like some guy who's been smoking 50 cigarettes a day. And the next topic is all about Andy Serkis, Venom 2, and his great kindling, I want to say, bromance with Tom Hardy. There may be romance there as well, who knows. But apparently they have serious chemistry. And this quote is coming from the producer of Venom 2, Matt Tolmack, and he says that they have a dynamic team up. Tom Hardy and Andy Serkis. He says he's a great director, and Serkis that is, but he's also an actor, and he's played inside monsters, and he sort of understands character from the inside. It's been well to watch him with Hardy because they speak that language that only actors understand. And paraphrasing, because I don't want to read the whole quote, he says that they're really having a great relationship on the set. He's taking him to the side, he's speaking in his ear, he's giving him pointers on what to do, and he's speaking a language that Tom really understands. And apparently it's a great connection. It's really bolstering this movie, and it's making it even more enjoyable an experience perhaps than the first movie was for Tom Hardy. Now look, I watched the original Venom when it came out. I was taken aback by it. I actually thought it would be a disaster, but it turned out it wasn't that bad a movie at all. It was very much a movie of two halves. Very personalised, introspective story about this deeply unlucky guy in the first half of the movie. Then it exploded into utter chaos in the second half when the symbiotic Venom obviously took over Eddie Brock. And we had that hilarity as well, with some comedic value with the voice in the head and the nonsense that was happening. So I really enjoyed the first movie. I thought it was wonderful. It was a surprise success at the box office, and obviously Sony instantly greenlit it. Try to create a monstrous, villainous universe, so why would they not greenlight it? We'll have Morbius coming in the form of Jared Leto very soon to bolster that ever more as well. And who knows, we may have Tom Holland as Spider-Man at some point down the line. But look, I'm really excited. I thought Ruben Fleischer done a great job on the first Venom, but Andy Serkis, we've spoken about this guy numerous times, me and Stephen, over the last 2 years. He's one of my all-time favourite figures in the Hollywood business, not just actor, producer, director, writer, but figure in general. A really honest, down-to-earth, humble guy off the screen, and just a remarkably talented chap on the screen, behind the scenes, everywhere. Second unit director on The Lord of the Rings. He's also directed Mowgli, which didn't get enough attention. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would as well. So I'm excited to see this guy and what he can do on a big blockbuster release like this, working with the great Tom Hardy, another chap I've got a lot of time for, an incredibly talented rags to riches tale as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see how he's going to empower Tom Hardy in this role. As they do say in this article, he has worked as Gollum, he's worked as obviously Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies. He's an incredibly talented chap. He knows how to do mocap, he knows how to really give a heart-warming performance amidst perhaps a more complex, nuanced character. And this is the perfect match for these two guys. So it's great to see that they are having great bromance behind the scenes. And actually, I cannot wait to see this movie, more so than I would ever have dreamt in the past, having been completely unaware of just how good Tom Hardy would be in the role. But look guys, I've not got much more to add. There was going to be a sixth topic in there about Black Adam and I think the Justice Society of America being confirmed by Dwayne Johnson, but look, I have neither the will nor the voice to continue on speaking. When you're doing it on your own, it is so much harder. I can't even tell you. Mad respect to the likes of Campere and whatnot, because they are ungodly, supernatural beings when it comes to speaking for ridiculously long times. But look guys, I'm going to round up a show on that note. What do you make about Robert Pattinson and this news that he's struggling to bulk up in this potential 2-week minor delay? Is this something you're worried about? Do you think this may endanger the experience of the Batman movie? Is a skinny Batman a bad idea? Or do you not care, like me? What do you make about John Turturro coming on as well as Carmine Falcone? Is it Carmine Falcone? And what do you make about the Endgame writer speaking about the folly of a potential Iron Man 4 movie and why it was right to kill him off? If you have got anything to say at all, you can comment below and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. You can also like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike the video if you've hated it. I don't care. It's all good. It's getting recognition out there, so I'm happy either way. Ambivalence is the worst thing in the world, and you can subscribe to the channel as well if you're enjoying the content. And I'll be back again for another episode of MBE Movie News tomorrow.